How you doing, everybody? It's Monday. It's the 20th of December 2010. Bitter cold here in Ireland. Very, very cold. It was minus 15, minus 16 here last night. So I hope everybody stays well, stays warm. I've been away for a while. Had to go off, trying to earn some money. Like everybody else, I've got bills to pay and whatever. So just my business is normally extremely quiet for the month of January, so I've got to try and do a sort of little catch-up job in the month of December. So I headed off, so I'm going to be here for quite a while now. So anyway, so over the next day or two, as I say, I haven't done any postings for a while, so I'm going to do a couple of them over the next day or so. Hopefully I'll keep this one brief this morning and not try and ramble on too much. I just want to talk about a couple of concepts. One is I was away and I visited two cities when I was away. One's a small city, Belfast, sort of a pseudo-industrial city. It was an industrial city. It's now virtually given over to so many cities in the Western world to all sorts of stuff, but manufacturing is not one of them. Anyway, mainly service sort of oriented. When I was up there, I met a few people. Interesting to get sort of perspectives from different sort of viewpoints. And I had a few drinks one day with a guy that I went to school with. And he's a small-time academic. He's a school teacher in a secondary school in the north of Ireland. But he knows a lot of academics. And I met a few of these people for a bit of a drink in his home. About a week ago, and it was interesting to hear them talking. And what they began to talk about is what was going on in Ireland. And one of them is he's a lawyer. He lectures in law. He lectures in European law. It's in one of the Northern English universities. I don't know which one it is, but that's not important. But he has a doctorate in constitutional law, this man. So the issue that he raised was, I thought it was quite interesting. He raised the issue that what our government was doing was essentially illegal under our constitution. In other words, what it was doing is unilaterally it was taking private debt and putting it onto the public purse. And I said, that's correct. He asked me what did I think about it, and I said, that's essentially what they did. I said, they did it in an underhand way. I said, they didn't actually do it directly, but they made us, as the people, guarantee the debt. So they borrowed the money from external sources, and any losses on the debt, any losses relating to the capital sum on the debt, and any losses relating to the interest, we have to stump up the losses. But in a roundabout way, what you say is true. He did it. It's not a direct, it's an indirect transfer of the debt to the public purse. But we're still picking up the bill. So he said basically that it was illegal, and he then went on to talk about the role of our president and the whole thing. And basically, I didn't lose my temper, but I got quite irate about the whole thing. And I had to stop him in full flight because he was talking about, so he's a lawyer and they believe in the law. Most of these lawyers believe in the law. So I had to stop him in full flight and I had to try and tell him, look, the law is there to protect the interests of the people who run society. The law is not there to protect the interests of ordinary people. The law doesn't give a shite about ordinary people. So of course that went down like a lead balloon. So I said, you've raised the issue of our president in this whole matter. And let me tell you about our president. Our president comes from this city that we're in, this little city called Belfast. She was born in the Ardoyne. And she grew up on the Falls Road in West Belfast. Now, I didn't know her directly, but I knew her indirectly because I knew a man she knocked around with. A young fella at the time, before she married this guy she was married to. I said I knew her as a different name when she was growing up on the Falls Road. She was a wee girl from St Dominic's and she ran around, okay. And then what happened was she became an academic. And she fell under the mantle of Fianna Fáil and the Catholic Church. And that's what she is. She is a seriously conservative woman who has got many doctorates in law. She's got a doctorate in criminal law. I think that's her. She's a professor. No, she's not. She's a professor of criminal law at both Trinity College in Dublin and also in Belfast. And I said, this woman knows more about the Constitution than you probably do, even though you've got a doctorate in the subject. But I said, this woman is a serious, serious thinker. This is not an idiot. Now, I said, she's been in power for years as the President of Ireland. I said, her whole social milieu is she lives like a queen. She lives up in a vice-regal lodge called Earth Neutron up in the Phoenix Park in Dublin. She's got aide-de-camp, she's got secretaries, she's got Rolls Royces available to run around in. She drives around in a high-powered Mercedes car with armed guards looking after her interest. I said, she earns, up until recently, she earned about 400,000 a year. She earns much more money than any other president in the world. Much more money than any other president in the world. Now, I said, I know she's taken a bit of a hit in recent times, but the bottom line about it is, she's about to retire. She's taken the hit and the game's up. I said, this woman is a Fianna Fáiler through and through. This woman is appointed by the ruling party in this country. I said, in 7 years, this woman has only deferred 4 sections of any act. 4 times she has deferred an act that she was to sign off on to bring into law to the Supreme Court to test its constitutionality. And you're saying, why hasn't she done it with this business? Which is essentially Fianna Fáil's attempt to rescue Fianna Fáil and to rescue their buddies, their speculator banker buddies. And you're asking me why she hasn't deferred it? I said, listen, the bottom line about that woman's not going to defer anything. It's going to rock the boat. Let me tell you at a social level, that woman's personal hero is Elizabeth Guelph of England, the Queen of England. Elizabeth Windsor is her personal hero. This is a woman who heads up one of the youngest and one of the most fragile republics in the whole of Western Europe. And her hero is a monarch whose ancestors had this place in its thrall under imperial power for 450 years. And she wants this woman to come here and be all lovey-dovey with her. And nothing really has happened. It's all like all history doesn't exist or anything like that. I said, are you people living in cloud cuckoo land? I said, the only time that woman spoke out in recent years about anything, she did it at a commission ceremony in Russia 2 months ago. She made sure she was 2,500, 3,000 miles away from Dublin when she made the statement. She was addressing some sort of a commissioning ceremony. I presume it was officers in the Russian army or the Russian navy or the Russian air force or something. And she raised the issue about that our problems, the whole of our problems were down to a public servant, a fella called Patrick NEARY, the financial regulator. So all of a sudden, the problems of Ireland all rest on his head, the financial regulator. And she said people were angry. People are angry? You don't know the half of it. You don't know the half of it, Madam President. So anyway, all this obviously went down like a lead balloon. I said that woman's not going to say anything or do anything to rock the boat. I said she has a Council of State. Have you ever seen these people? Have you ever seen these people? I doubt if one, she's got, I don't know how many's on it, maybe about 30 people on her, or 24 people, something like that. I doubt if one of them is from the working class. One of them is from the working class. I doubt if any of them are under 30 or 25. Certainly none of them are under 25. These are old fuddy-duddies. All the good and the mighty, all the brown nosers and the arse lickers from Irish society who have got us where we are. They're not going to do anything. Nobody in this society is going to do anything. The only people who do anything in this society are people from outside this society and tell this society what to do.
This is a society marred in cronyism, cute hoorism and corruption up to here. They're not going to do anything.
Anyway, the final thing was, at that stage I was in full flight. And I shouldn't have done what I did, but I did it. I'll tell you what I did. His little daughter was playing with their friends in the corner of this room. This man that invited me out to his house. And they were making up little cut-out dolls. And I went over and I got one of the scissors. And I don't have scissors here, but I'll use these. These would give you a good idea. I said, you see those things there? I said, they're called scissors. And you know what the people of Ireland are going to do with the ruling party? And all their minions, all of them, at the next election, and that's going to happen within 3 months. Here. They're going to cut their testicles off. They're going to cut Fianna Fáil's testicles off. And the sooner, the better. And we can then move on, hopefully to a better society.